So here we are, we're back in MakeCode, and we're going to start a new series looking at the Kitronic Smart Greenhouse kits and how we can program those. And we look at computer science for actually solving some of the problems to do with growing plants or farming. And this works in with a unit of work on that. But before we can get going, we've actually got to add the blocks to our workspace here. Because we see in the toolbox down the middle, we've got nothing in so that we can use for that. So here we've got the extensions bit. And as we've done before, we can click on that. It opens up our menu, and in the search bar at the top, I'm just going to type green and press enter. And we'll give it a minute as it searches through. I see lots of different options that match it, but here we've got the Kitronic Smart Greenhouse board. It says custom MakeCode extensions. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to click on that, and it's going to add that to our workspace. Here we go, here come the blocks, and there we go. Now we've got our greenhouse blocks here. So we take a quick tour of this. We open it up, we've got a number of different options inside it. Set music pin for a buzzer is our first default one, but then we've got zip LEDs. We can set the clock, and we'll look at the hardware that links with all of this as well as we go through. We've got various sensors that are built onto the board, so the board can measure pressure, temperature, humidity, our various inputs and outputs, and these, to default with, relate to the soil moisture probe, our water pump, so as you can see here, what I've done is I've set a couple of variables up. So let's look at where to take the sensor readings from for the greenhouse bit. Now, before we move on to that, if we just look at how temperature might look if I take it from input, as we've done before, what I get here on my simulated microbit is I get the temperature scale and I can control that. Now, that's great if I'm testing my code. When I use the sensor value from the greenhouse, though, I'm not going to get that. So I've got a greenhouse menu here. I've got sensors, and that's where I find my pressure, temperature, and humidity sort of data that I can pull in. So I take temperature, I can drop that in there. I could change it between Celsius and Fahrenheit if I want to, and that depends on how you want to store your data. You see now when it's running through, my code is running here, but I don't get that temperature scale. So when you're building your code, when you put in the temperature and you're not seeing that there, doesn't mean it's broken, just means it doesn't display it. And then if I wanted to add humidity as well, I can go back to sensors, and there's my read humidity. That just goes on there. So I could put this code on my microbit, I could flash it, I could have it connected to the board, and it would run it, be taking those readings. Not got anything to display them, but of course, if I wanted to do that, that's simply a case of I could go to basic, put that in, and here just got show number. I'd go to my variables, and I'd drop my temperature in there. If I wanted a bit more information, I would probably add a show string, and I could put temp, and that's going to go through. Now when I run this on here, I'm not going to see it, but what I'm